Hey everyone, welcome to the Gaming X. If you're new here, we are dedicated to delivering the best Xbox One, PS4 and Nintendo Switch reviews and news. If you like what you see, then please hit subscribe. Your support helps us to deliver more and more content just like this. Today we're taking a look at our review for Frictional Games Soma on the Xbox One. Now, this is a title I've been looking forward to for some time. It was originally released back in 2015 on the PC, Mac and PS4 and largely received very high praise. Having missed those releases, I was excited to finally jump in. But does it live up to expectations? Let's find out. It's a story. So without giving away any spoilers, Soma is a disturbing story centered around identity, consciousness and what it means to be human. You play as Simon, a Canadian resident who recently suffered a brain trauma following a car accident. Opening the game in your apartment, you're on your way to a brain surgeon of sorts to see if anything can be done to help your situation and return to everyday life. However, like all good science fiction stories, all does not go right, finding yourself awakening after surgery in the world of Soma, an underwater terminal with horrors at every turn, corrupted humans, twisted creatures, and plenty of insane robots. Now, the story also invites the player to investigate, and while the game will surely give you enough to have a general understanding if you just have a straight playthrough, a large portion is scattered throughout the environments as you investigate the world of Soma. And the story is really a great piece of work. While the game is touted as a horror journey, and it surely is, it's the believable writing, Philip K. Dick-esque influences, just wait for the opening quote, and optional nature of how far you want to go down the rabbit hole with discoverables that kept me coming back. Soma's opening scenes leave a lot to be desired. Awakening in your apartment, I was generally, to be honest, disappointed. Low detail textures, an apparent 2015 design, and a largely underdeveloped environment was my only thought. It felt very cold. The game, fortunately, however, turns this around very quickly, and this is when you enter the world of Soma and the game comes to life. With the underwater set piece of the game, there's some truly unique spectacles, and many will see a similarity to Bioshock, but this really has so much more horror and a developed environment. The lighting throughout is also excellent, navigating corridors and terminals, as well as the sea itself is truly unique, with the graphics not only being there for cosmetic reasoning, but cleverly using lighting to navigate the player underwater. This game does not hold your hand, it's a game of curiosity, where clues and smart graphical design is used to guide you and push you along your way. Now, when it comes to horror, and there's plenty of it, the character design sits for the majority on the side of excellent. The humans, unfortunately, do definitely come straight out of 2015 with some low detail, and the physical appearance just doesn't quite seem right. But the robots and monsters are truly excellent. The robots themselves have a great graphical design and style where the animation lends itself completely to create a believable environment and active AI system. Then there's the monsters, and these are as terrifying as you would expect. The monsters themselves look fantastic, and they had me on edge throughout. Unfortunately though, it does get repetitive, seeing the same ones over and over. So sound throughout is largely fine, if not exemplary. The monsters and robots are terrifying, and they did a great job of encapsulating this through sound design. And then they layer this on environmental design. Now, while there's not really much going on here, it's definitely believable and it adds to the immersion for the player. The underwater scenes for me did stand out, where they encompass the scale and unique setting with the sound design surrounding the player. And by far my favourite sound in the game itself was a glitch effect, as monsters moved into your presence and it notifies the player. Voice acting itself, unfortunately, is hit and miss. While some characters are voiced to a very high level, especially the robots you find throughout, this is typically met with a mediocre performance shortly after. As voice actors go for the main protagonist, Simon, he gets the job done, but it just didn't match the scene taking place sometimes. I found his tonality was frequently just out of place. Music in Soma, again, is just largely ambient. This is here to drive the terror along, really, without really leaving you with anything in the way of music as such. It gets the job done though, and it definitely suits the sense of dread Soma is frequently pushing to portray. So gameplay, and now this is where Soma really surprised me. This is essentially bare minimum. This is not about attacking monsters or really weaponry of any kind, but a challenge in survival. You'll find yourself sneaking around corridors in what I lied to myself and said was my attack pose, crouch. but it was in fact just from fear of running into monsters or the deranged variety of robots out to get me. At your disposal, your equipment really comes down to a flashlight. You'll also have an Omni tool alongside this, which is used for a companion and unlocking some doors. And the rest of the game is discovery and puzzles. The puzzles are infrequent, and while they're challenging to a certain extent, I didn't find any real moments of frustration. Unfortunately though, the game does get repetitive, and it definitely outstays its welcome. Monsters become repetitive, as do your tactics for survival, and after just a few encounters, I was largely able to navigate them without any difficulty at all. The monsters really became an obstacle for me advancing the story towards the end, and that was really what was keeping me going. Additionally, the game is big on interactive objects littered throughout, and this is, to be honest, to the level of excessive. Often I found myself sifting through junk just to find one key card or clue that I needed. With any game like Soma, unfortunately there's also an element of backtracking, and here is where the game could have found a bit more focus, avoiding extending gameplay time. So final verdict, if you're yet to experience Soma, then this is simply another chance. But the game may now be 2 years old, and its age is definitely showing, especially in those human character designs. It's still a largely unique experience. A comparison to BioShock is largely unwarranted and unfair to either title. While the gameplay throughout is basic and a sense of repetition will kick in, I can recommend this title for the storyline. This is one of the best stories I've experienced in a number of years, and one I will quickly be revisiting. Xbox has also included a safe mode with this release, and while it wasn't for me on first playthrough as the monsters can't hurt you in that mode, I can see the inclusion becoming beneficial as I go back for that second playthrough simply to dive into the storyline and hidden secrets. I originally came for the horror, but it was the story that kept me hooked, and it's what will have me coming back. The Gaming X awards Soma a 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed what you saw today, then please hit subscribe. We release videos on a Monday, Thursday and Saturday, so there's plenty more to come. Thanks so much for watching.